bear with me whilst I try to load another image. And that pertains to the, I don't know whether to call it a blunder caused by the military. And this morning in Kano, and but Yomi will tell us more about that story, because it's quite worrying when people are just going about celebrating a religious event, and then the next moment, I don't know what the military was thinking, whether they were there to protect, and then mistakenly fired a missile that has killed how many people? More than 80 people. Yomi.
Well, it's even more than 80 because we're looking at about almost 150 innocent lives has been killed.
Wow.
The question is, what happened? And has this happened in the past? Is this something that has happened and inquiries has been done, or is this something that happens because there was some intelligence that went wrong and eventually led to the multiple killings of innocent lives? When the news filtered out, people like us are not surprised because, like we've always said, Nigeria never happened to you, but when it happens to you, you are likely to be affected. Looking at the map in front of you, if I'm moving a little bit this way, you can see that Kaduna is just somewhere around there, behind me, a little bit away from Kano, not too far from Zamfara State, down into Niger rather, and Abuja. Kaduna itself, is a very important strategy when it comes to the northern part of the country. But the question is, what led to these bombs into the innocent Nigerians? It's a question. Many people are still finding out what went wrong. But like I said, people like us are not surprised because the military have continuously bombed, the southeast of Nigeria, where innocent people have been killed. But yet, it seems that inquiry doesn't happen because it is in the southeast. But this time around, Nigerians and the president is now saying that thorough investigation is going to happen. This has literally generated a lot of conversation online regarding the killings of the innocent lives. Were these innocent people put as a security risk, or was it just something that happened as a misfortune? But like I said to you, 150 innocent people were bombed, and the headline has touched on almost every part of the daily newspaper coming out of Nigeria this morning. There is now widespread outrage today, yesterday rather, over the accidental bombing of Tudun Biri in the Igabi local government area of Kaduna State. The Nigerian army have literally come out, to confirm that yes, there was some mistake, but like I said, about 150 people have died. I cannot show you those images. I've seen them already. Very, very gruesome. Some are even saying that we hope that is not another ethnic cleansing of the Christians in Kaduna State. I don't want to believe that, but we've had the former governor El-Rufai. We said it yesterday, saying that Christians will never be governor in that particular state. Star Radio UK, I'll come back again to you in the studio, Mr. Archie.
But Yami, they were saying that it was a Muslim, an Islamic event that was taking place, and this happened. So if somebody says it's ethnic cleansing of Christians, somebody say no.
That's why, and that's why I said, you're quite right. They were actually celebrating the Maulud, which is an Islamic event when the bombs were dropped. The question then is, were these intelligence indicating that those individuals that were celebrating, because we know that ISIS, continue to become a threat. Because if we look at what happened in Indonesia yesterday, massacre took place in a Catholic church, almost similar incident that took place in Owo in Ondo State. And ISIS has claimed responsibility for what happened in Philippines, where this incident happened yesterday. And we're talking about multiple people who died at that Catholic church. But the question then is, was there a kind of intelligence that indicate, or was it just a mishap? But the deputy governor of Kaduna State, Adiza Balarabi, had to visit Islamic clerics in the state to those attention as the governor of the state, Senator Uba Sani, has now ordered a thorough investigation into the bombing to forestall future occurrences. As the state government moved to those attention, the Christian Association of Nigeria, the Arewa Youth Consultative Forum, the Human Rights, Amnesty International, and many others have now condemned this bombing that have led to over 150 innocent lives.
Now, let's talk about security or insecurity in that part or that state, that's Kaduna. Has there been any insecurity issues going there, and therefore the military presence is at the place, let's say, there to quell insurgents of headsmen, Fulani headsmen, or any menace of the sort that is going on? Is there anything of the sort?
Well, I mean, there's always been, issues when it comes to Kaduna State. Kaduna, like I said, from the map behind me, you can tell that is also one of those states. Kaduna is the capital, is the capital city of Kaduna State, and also a former political capital of the northern Nigeria. It is literally located in the western Nigeria on the Kaduna River. And like I said, is a very, very important strategy as well. It has always been a threat when it comes to the insecurity. Remember that we're talking about 1,000 porous border in Nigeria, and Kaduna also has so much link because, like I said, if you look at the map behind me, you could tell that it has a lot of borders that surround it up to Zamfara State and Kano as well.
Well, it is true. I can see being surrounded by Kano, Bauchi, Niger, Zamfara, Abuja, and a few of them. Plateau, I don't know what a plateau because your head is blocking that one. Okay, yes, yes.
So you could say it goes into Bauchi, Plateau State. You're right. Kebbi, and if you look at Zamfara State, Zamfara has been a very prone area as well. But like I said, almost all the 36 states, in the federal capital, the Federal Republic of the country itself is prone to the, insecurity. Because yesterday we talked about, the kidnap in Abuja at the FCT. So when this happened in Abuja, then you might as well say that there's a threat in Kaduna as well.
Okay, listeners, bear with me. I think Yomi's volume was a bit low there, but let's see whether it's much better now. But it's Starr Radio UK. It's a very, very sad situation coming that way. We know that the president is also poured out his heart to victims and those who have lost their lives. But is that reassuring to the citizens at all?
Well, I think it is because as Atiku is now also seeking probe to the bombing that took place in Kaduna, just as also the chief of army staff, Lagbaja has now visited these places as well. But the president is still in United Arab Emirates, but is also mourning with those that have been killed. And this is exactly what we want. We want to see president reacting quickly as not just sitting back as well. But President Bola Tinubu has now ordered an investigation into the military airstrike that accidentally killed over 150 innocent lives in that Tudunbiri village, Igabi local government area of Kaduna State.
Listen to Starr Radio UK, updates from Nigeria with Mr. Olayomi Koiki in our North London studios. I'm actually here in the South studios, and we bring you everything that you need to know. Those on the sister broadcast, every platform listening to us from. I salute each and every one of you. But let me especially say good morning to our boss, Rachel, and then to I hope you are doing very, very well. And we thank God Nigeria has not happened to you. And to those who have lost their lives, once again, we pour out our hearts and our condolences to them and to their families as well. Now, we've been talking about financiers of insurgents, and especially Boko Haram. And I mean, back in the day, we had UAE that published some names, and Buhari at the time as the president never actually divulged that the names of those people because we were eager to know who they are. Now, but information coming through, it says that 4 Boko Haram financiers have been convicted. Who are they? And were they part of those who were listed, the list that was sent by the UAE to Buhari at the time? Are they those people? Yomi.
Well, when I actually, got this news, you can tell that, it's one of those news that we've been waiting for. I was a little bit concerned that, I mean, skeptical that was it because the former president did not really push for such to happen because, under the former AGF, we couldn't get these sorted out. Was it maybe just the case is still an ongoing one? 366 Boko Haram terrorists convicted, but 4 financials have now been jailed, according to the AGF coming as well. I can get a sound feed coming back to me.
Okay, I don't know why you're getting feedback from there, but let me see. You're not getting a feedback from me.
The Federal High Court sitting in Dawake in Abuja on Monday yesterday have now convicted 4 Boko Haram financiers. They are Ambono Kemi. According to the Office of the Attorney General of the Federation, disclosed this in a statement yesterday. The AGF Special Assistant on Communication and Publicity, Kamaruddin Ogundele, said the prosecution team led by the AGF Prince Lateef Fagbemi, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, have now been able to secure the conviction in separate cases before Justice Binta Yanko and Justice Emeka Inwati. What do we know? He said that the defendant have actually pleaded guilty to the charges and likewise begged the court for leniency. The defense counsel was led by Director Criminal Justice and Legal Aid Counsel F.A. Bakari. According to those charges that were filed by the Director of the Public Prosecution of the Federation, M.B. Abubakar, Asemi provided funds for terrorist group by buying food product from the group, having reasonable ground to believe that the proceeds will be used to commit terrorist act, thereby committing an offense contrary to Section 13 of the Terrorism Provision Amendment Act 2013. Also, Ogundele said Justice Nyako convicted the defendant having pleaded guilty to count 2 and 3. Also, this conviction is going to be about 20 years for each of the offenses. They are to run concurrently. Nyako was quoted to have well. He said that the judge also convicted Sarama, sentenced him to 10 years imprisonment for concealing the identity of Boko Haram member Modu Sulum. Ogundele said Justice Nyako added that the jail term should also run from day the convict had been in custody. So you can tell that also Justice Inwiti, in another trial, convicted the duo of Umar Mohammed and Bunu Kami and sentenced them to 10 years imprisonment. What we found out is that the AGF on Monday in Niger State disclosed that the federal government were able to secure a total of 366 convictions in the trial of the Boko Haram terrorists that was conducted in 2017. About 896, these are statistics now, 896 suspects have been discharged for lack of evidence, while 61 other cases were subsequently adjourned for further hearing.
I'm interested in knowing their political affiliation. Do they have any political affiliation? How strong are they, or how powerful are they? Or is it just, like I'm going to town, I see somebody, at times we go to the shopping center, you have somebody saying, can you give me money or buy me food or something? And I give that. Is it those kind of people that we are saying, they are financiers, or these are big political hooks who are saying, behind the scenes, as the man who has died, what is it? Is it a professor who
Dr. Malafia?
Yeah, Malafia, yeah. The things that he was saying, that there were some big political hooks behind the scenes, pulling all the strings and doing stuff. Who are they? Can you give us a bit of their background?
Well, like I said, you could tell from the names, Umar Muhammad, Bunu Kami, Modu Sulum, and likewise, the last individual known as Zana Zarama. These are the only names we know. I don't have a background to such of this individual, but it seems that what we've been told, these are 4 out of so many that have been backing, the Boko Haram in terms of finance. Remember that there was these also issues in Dubai, the United Arab Emirates some years back when, we had also individuals that were funding, terrorism as well. As at the time, and I'm just going back to what we know, when it comes to these issues of those that are financing these such as well. The UAE Federal Court of Appeal in Abu Dhabi convicted Abdurrahman Ado Musa Saliu Yusuf Adamu Bashir Ali Yusuf Muhammad Ibrahim Isa Ibrahim Ali Ali Hassan and Suraju Abubakar Muhammad for transferring a total of $50,000 from Dubai to Boko Haram in Nigeria. This was last year, according to the news. Also, going back to the U.S. Department, of Treasury, Department for Treasury, Treasury sanctioned 6 individuals for raising funds in the United Arab Emirates to support Nigeria Boko Haram terrorist group. The Boko Haram network in the UAE have now been able to secure and also sentence this individual. The question then is, are these individuals also linked to the financials that have now been also sentenced in Nigeria? Like I said, many individuals from outside and within Nigeria have been fueling and making sure that life become a very difficult one. And that is why, someone and people like, Professor Banja Kitoye and many other groups of such caliber have said that the Yorubas become a threat because the terrorism that is happening in Nigeria has another hidden agenda to it. And we must quickly come out to say, like I said, watching the news from Philippines yesterday, when ISIS have bombed, a Catholic church, it just quickly remind me of the Catholic church that was also bombed in Owo. Till date, nobody has been charged and nobody is in custody, even though we were told that individuals were picked up, but it seems that the news have just faded away, just like so many news in Nigeria that pops up, go for a couple of days or weeks, and eventually fade away because there's nothing that says that persecution and judgment will be served to these criminal elements that have destroyed lives, property, individuals, and has made Nigeria a place not to invest, even though the president and the government is trying to say, we have so much of the talent, bring those investment. I'm not sure anyone wants to take investment to a place where there's terrorists all over the place.
Well, listeners, it is Starr Radio UK. Updates from Nigeria. So I'm Koiki in our North London studios. I'm actually here in the South studios, and we're bringing everything that you need to know your way. So wherever you are, don't touch the dial. Now let's move on to some other stories that is making the rounds this morning. Akash Chonde. I remember the former CBN governor, MFLA, when they changed the naira, or you said they colored the naira. I said that they changed it to something else. Now there was that question, a serious one. So we knew that because of the shot and then the time space that they gave, that by this time the old naira notes will not be legal tender. So people were rushing to either bank their money and stuff like that. But the Supreme Court has ruled that the both currencies or both notes, yes, should run side by side until further notice. So there's no need for that demand. However, it's saying that there's cash shortage that has hit banks. So what is happening? Is it the CBN that is not providing the money? The old notes, where have they burnt them? Did Mefele and Buhari take it away or something?
Well, the new CBN, director is doing whatever it can do to make sure that the CBN has a better face in the eyes of many Nigerians. But like I said, it seems that cash shortage has now continued to hit the banks as customers rush for BVN and name revalidation. What do we know? Huge crowd besieged the banking hall yesterday as customers moved to now also link their bank verification numbers and the national identity numbers to their bank account. And the reason for that is, in the new year, from what we are getting, many of those that have not done such would eventually lose whatever they have in such account. I don't know how the diaspora will be able to rectify this, especially if you're not traveling to Nigeria anytime soon. But this followed that the new directives of the banking regulators that came up on Friday to bar customers who are yet to link their BVN and the NIM from having access to the account. So, someone like us have done that already because I've been able to travel to Nigeria, even though about 4 years ago when I did the NIM, it took a lot of problems to get it done. We know that the name can be done in UK because we've been able to speak to them, I think about 4 years ago, somewhere in Oak Road. I'm not too sure where they're still there. But what about those Nigerians that are outside that do not have the same facility like Europe or America to be able to get their name linked to their bank account? That literally means that they might be losing whatever they have in those accounts. The central bank says it is new directive that existing customer must ensure all operated account and wallet create through agent are fully profiled in the NIPS ICAD and tagged with the valid and correct BVN. But when it comes to the shortage of cash, the question, like you said, is, are we not having enough money in the banking, or why is it that the customers are rushing to get their money out? Could it be that those that are getting that money out are those that refuse to link the BVN and the name to the account?
Well, we'll see what happens on that front. It's quite a worrying
And
one.
yes, it's going to happen. The CBN will freeze those accounts from April next year. Well, it seems that April next year is going to be an interesting time, because I was reading as well, the BBC TV license is going to be coming up into 173 pounds from 159. I didn't even realize that they freeze it for 2 years, but it seems that now it's going to be coming up. So if you're living in UK, buckle up, because the TV license is going to increase from 159 pounds a year to 173, even though the Prime Minister is not happy with that.
Well, we'll see what happens on that one. At least here, if you put £1 aside by a year, that you'll be able to pay that. You're able to do that. However, when it comes to Nigeria or one of African countries or developed countries, we don't have the means. I mean, people don't even have the £1 to even use it to buy food to eat. Talk less putting that aside to be paying for whatever. So let's say we hope that people are able to sort that out, link their CV and the various identification recommendations, so that they can get their monies back on. But it is Starr Radio, 11:30 the time, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now, interestingly, there was one story that you put on earlier on that pertains to what has happened here, and it's pertaining to a 47-year-old man of Exlane Road in Newmarket, who has been charged with murder. What happened?
When the news, surfaced out this morning, which I picked up as well, because it's a very, very, sad news for the Nigerian community in UK. Not too sure what has led to such a very gruesome murder. I will not be able to show you the images of both the wife and the husband, but I have those images already. And the news is already, as I read it from the North Suffolk website police station. This news, has been ongoing since November, but like I said, it has only come to our desk today. A man has now been charged with the murder following the death of a woman, which we know is a Nigerian woman. From what I've gathered, these two couples and their children, 3 of them, have come to UK under the COS, which is, those that want to work in the healthcare sector. From what I've heard as well, before going back to what the police is saying, is also that, the husband has been given, either restriction order from the children, but something took place just before 10 a.m. on Tuesday, 28th of November, as the police enter a property in Exham Road in Suffolk. Upon entry, officer discovered the body of a woman, which I can confirm is a Nigerian woman. Paramedics also attended, but the victims, a woman in the age of 40, was sadly declared deceased at the scene. 2 individuals were arrested for suspicion of murder. One of them have been allowed to go back home, but I can confirm that Mr. Olubunmi Abodunde, a 47-year-old man of Exon Road, Newmarket, has now been charged with the murder of what we believe is the wife. The 3 children are now in the custody of the social workers. He has been remanded to appear before the Suffolk magistrate, which took place last month, November. But like I said, the 38-year-old man has been released without further action. The police are also still asking for further inquiries to such a very gruesome murder. But like I said, while I was reading that, I picked up again on the paper today where another case, I believe that is not in Nigeria, but I believe it's somewhere, the Caribbeans, where this young man actually killed 4 generations, the girlfriend and the mother partner, and another sister. 4 individuals were killed last year, and the case continued, and he actually denied murder, says they were done for ritual purposes.
Wow. I don't know whether when you live here, you still believe in all these ritual purposes that you can kill somebody and then maybe you go back and money in your account, or maybe under your bed. The police will be checking you. But we don't know what people believe in. So it is Star Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. There's one other story that I will look at, and then I'll come back to Yomi. That this pertains to Nigeria's oil revenue that has surged by 83%. The information says that that is let me get it right. Nigeria's total mechanized trade stood at 18.80 trillion naira in the first quarter of 2023. The value indicates an increase of 54.62% over the amount recorded in Q2 2023, as well as 53.16% when compared to the value recorded in the third quarter 2022. Now, total export accounted for 55.02% of total trade in the reviewed quarter, with a value of 10.35 trillion naira, showing an increase of 60.78% and 74.36% over the value recorded in the preceding corresponding quarters, respectively. Export trade in the third quarter of 2023 was dominated by crude oil export, valued at 8.5 billion naira. That is 82.5% of total export, while the value of non-crude oil exports stood at 1.81 trillion, accounting for 17.5%. Now, Yomi, this is quite lovely figures that we are churning out this morning, where we know the astound economic expert in Nigeria last week was talking about that we have all these big figures that we churn it out, and then we are using big grammar and stuff like that. But when it comes to the poor man on the ground, they don't experience that. So do you think that these big sums that are being churned out is something that Nigeria, a common Nigerian person, saying that, oh yeah, that is good, thumbs up to the government?
Well, the question first is, like I always say, I mean, I picked this up, from someone, some few years back, that the crude oil is an increment of the devil, because it seems that it's not being used, judicially for the purpose of humankind. Many Nigerians still wonder, when we talk about the crude oil, what is the existence of the crude oil? Because, in reality, many Nigerians do not even benefit from anything. Abacha took about $5 billion of Nigerian money, and most of this money literally came from the crude oil. Looking at what I'm picking this up from the router, what router is also saying that Nigeria oil production target could be a stretch. We are not even hitting the right production out. We are the output that has been given to Nigeria, we are not meeting it. And according to those, it has been declined, in the last 2 or 3 consultants group that have said this and also verified. Nigeria is seeking to have an higher 2024 target that will be verified by OPEC at the time when the group is considering cutting output further rather than increasing it. I mean, the question is, why are we not hitting the target? We have those that are, part of the corruption that have stolen so much of the crude oil, and they've turned out to become, a good time billionaire overnight. In June, OPEC decided to cut Nigerian output target for 2024 to 1.38 million barrels per day from 1.74 million barrels per day for the 2023 that we couldn't hit. That is because, the lack of security around the crude oil itself, because most of those are still this crude oil, and not the woman selling fish in the market, not the man selling coconut, not the the young man that is trying to survive in the north and also in other parts. These are cabals that understand the game very well, and they also have the security that support such as well. And that literally means that even though I would not say that we are not hitting the target, it's just that it's not coming into the real, calculation. So if they're saying that we are not hitting 1.7, maybe we are even hitting more than 3 million, but half of that is not being deposited or being accounted for. And today, Nigeria is now looking to boost output by reaccelerating dormant oil field, pushing more production on onshore, and also introducing fresh measures to address security threat. So we are facing security threat with the crude oil, security threat with the food security threat in inland, security threat in the outland. And the question is, are we sure that this Port Harcourt refinery will be coming up this month? I was watching a video some 2 days ago, and they still guarantee that this month the Port Harcourt refinery will be up and running.
Now, that Port Harcourt refinery, where is it going to get their crude oil from?
Well, again, it will still be at least be able to get a crude oil as against Dangote that will have to source his own, because Dangote is a private business while the Port Harcourt refinery is a government owned.
Well, the question is, how long has the Port Harcourt refinery been out of service, and now that it's coming upstream? So how did they allocate fuel to the crude oil to other entities, and then like Dangote's cannot get that? Now, one thing that is very important is COP28. Now, COP28 is looking at cutting down on fossil fuel. So I'm looking at that, and when I see the African leaders who go to these various meetings and of the view that, yeah, we are also going to be cutting now, and I'm saying, whatever you've done even now, you've not been able to improve the lives of your people. But how is Nigeria going to fare at all? Because we know the president is there. He's not made a statement there yet. I don't know whether he's now made a statement. But what do you think, Olayomi?
Well, the COP28 summit has generated a lot of controversy surrounding the federal government, and that's the president there. The president actually spoke. I've seen the video, but it seems someone said that the video, or maybe the president was speaking at 0.5 speed. That means that he wasn't speaking, to probably the topic, or even not getting the message that many of those at that event would like to hear. But again, the federal government says we funded 422 delegates to the COP28 summit, as against the rumor that over 1,411 Nigerians travel with the government. The minister made this known in a statement yesterday, following a controversy trailing 1,411 Nigerians registered delegate at the summit. It seems that item number 7 is making a headway on the social media, but like I said, we leave that on another note. The federal government says that we're only funding 422 persons to the ongoing COP28 climate summit. The question is, those that are creating these big emissions, the US, the China, have a good reason for that. They want more production, but Africa, like I said, we are still not there yet. So, talking about climate change, we are being affected with this climate change. And I think the president says we will do whatever it takes, to make sure that we are part of it as well. But President Bola Tinubu, that departed on the 29th, the event is still going to be lasting another 7 more days from what we are told, end at December 12th. But like I said, the major part has been that, countries also with the highest delegation, some have said that it's not just Nigeria. UAE has 4,000, Brazil 3,000, China 1,004, with Nigeria 1,004 as well. But opposition political parties like the PDP, the Labour Party, had called on the APC government to release the number of the government-sponsored delegates to Dubai summit.
I did talk about the fact that at times we live our life as, you see the UAE, how they've developed everything, and you go to their places, you see that they are living well. But we try to live our lives that way. Meanwhile, we are not living well. The resources that we have is not adequate. We're not making it reach out to the other people, but we want to live with opulence. But well, good luck to our leaders. One day. All right then. Starr Radio UK, your favorite.
And we have 2 years ongoing that Nigerians in Dubai have not been renewed their work permit.
Yeah, and it trooped in more than 1,000 delegates to that government. What are they saying? What are they doing? What are they sharing? What role? Are they sweeping the place? Are they playing? What are they doing there? But let's leave that one. Listeners, it's Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. 11:43. We'll go to Yomi for him to bring us more of the stories making the rounds and what is happening on the social media platform. Over to you, sir.
Well, you must borrow to run the economy. Jimoh Ibrahim is saying, this morning, just as is defending the federal government taking that delegation for the COP28. We've talked about the budget. We talked about it on the Niger Voices. Last week, Wednesday, Senator Jim Ibrahim has said that the federal government must borrow money to run the country's economy effectively. The senator representing Ondo South in the Senate, who was also a guest on one of the mainstream media yesterday, was responding to questions on his earlier support for more borrowings by the government. If you don't borrow to run the economy, what do you do? What do you want to do with a question mark? Where do you want to get the fund to run the economy with a question mark? Dubai, with a population of 12 million people in total, holds about $168 billion. And look at what they've used the money to do. They are paying back now at $10 billion a month. Well, like we've said, borrowing is not the issue, but whenever this money are borrowed, the same senators are becoming much more richer and fatter on Nigerians as well. Now that Nigeria, with a population of 250 million, is owing $77 million, now you have to challenge here and there. So the key issue here is to do with the fact that you must borrow to run the economy, the senator stressed on as well. We're going to take one more and then go straight to the social media at 11:44. Family panic as a 13-year-old girl disappeared in Lagos. Well, the family of a 13-year-old schoolgirl, Miracle Aderiti, has called on the police to locate the whereabouts of their daughters, who was kidnapped by the unknown gunmen in Ikotun area of Lagos State. Miracle was said to have been kidnapped while returning from school on Friday, December 1st. Again, you can tell that the news in Nigeria could be delayed. This such news should have been right there on Friday so that we can be able to talk about it. But it's still not too late, and we hope that wherever she is, whoever has adopted her, will be able to communicate with the family or do whatever is needed for our return. While speaking for the development, the father, Shegun Aderiti, said he took the children to the bus stop where the school bus usually picks them up in the morning before he ended up to the workplace. He said he received a distress call in the afternoon about the adoption of his daughter. Aderiti was speaking to journalists, said, "We woke up early to prepare the kid for school. Before dropping them at the bus stop, we had no link of such wicked act by this gang. We hope that this family situation will be resolved, and we pray that Nigeria doesn't happen to them." That is how far we can go. I'm going to take you straight to the social media. Catholic is trending under the Nigeria news this morning, just as one of the superstar, we can say, Portable is having a great time in London as we continue to monitor him right here. But like I said, there was an incident that took place yesterday in the Philippines where many people were killed. Like I said, Catholic is trending on the Nigerian news this morning. Hilda Bassi seems to be trending. We know she lost out, to the longest cooking marathon on the Guinness World Record when another Irish individual has now taken the position. Buhari is trending this morning, and as you can tell, the Nigerian army is literally trending as well this morning. So let's pick on the Nigerian army because we know that they've literally killed. And like I said, I can see the images right here. And according to Sarah Ibrahim, yesterday the Nigerian army murdered over 150 villagers in Kaduna and said it was a mistake. Since 2017, the Nigerian army has reportedly bombed 16 villages, killed innocent Nigerians by mistake without any consequence. Only God knows the amount of unreported ones. They never mistakenly bombed Aso Rock. They never mistakenly bombed the National Assembly, but they always mistakenly killed innocent Nigerians and go scot-free. When would be enough be enough? When? With a good morning, Nigeria. Again, the reaction is still dropping out. I can tell you this morning, the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tariq Lagbaja, is currently in Kaduna at that particular Todobiri village. I can see the images right here. And it says that the Nigerian army drone strike occurred on Sunday night during the gathering of a villagers. RIP to the victims. This one says, in Anilai, the news is true. I saw a mention about this last night and thought it was a cap. Well, you can see that many Nigerians still see news and they never think it's a real news because there's too many fake news. And likewise, to get the authentic news, why not join us on the Star Radio UK from Monday to Friday, where we discuss the update from Nigeria. What a very sad situation. Peter Obi says just about 27 minutes ago. I'm not sure why he's delaying his own because this news has already been verified yesterday, but I'm only getting it on his headline, on his Twitter handle or X rather, just 27 minutes ago. I read with sadness the devastating report of the accidental bombing of Tundubiri village in the Igabi local government area of the Kaduna state by the Nigerian army craft that mistook the villagers for terrorists. Again, the international news are picking on that. Al Jazeera, the Nigerian army was a routine mission against terrorists, but evidently affected members of the community. Statement issued by the Kaduna State Ministry of Internal Affairs as well. Again, many Nigerians are wondering why Kaduna. Again, Kelvin Orden said Nigerian mistakenly bombed a village, killing over 100. Something that has happened several times, and then random, I'm not going to use the other word, runs and posts a picture of an Igbo army officer claiming he was the one that carried out the strike. You can see again, ethnic is being played right there. And just as the PM of the Biafra government in exile, Simon Ekpa, also picked on that same story, big headline. And as I said, again, we can confirm that the exploded helicopter belongs to the Nigerian Terrorist Air Force, was shot by the Biafra Liberation Army, but crashed and exploded in Port Harcourt. The Biafra Liberation Army and the Biafra government has claimed responsibility for the shooting the helicopter, who always come to bomb civilians. This is just one of the many fighter jets the Biafra Liberation Army has neutralized. And there's another headline says that the NFA helicopter crash. Air chief visit injured pilot in Port Harcourt. You can tell that there's a tension going on in the country right now, but it seems that the news is still being wrapped underneath. We hope that, situation between the federal government and the Biafra will be dealt with much more negotiation. No one wants to see another civil war in the country, but as things goes right now, there is a heavy fight going on, and those fighting is some believe that they have the right to self-determination, and that right will be respected by the federal government. And the federal government believes that that is not the right thing to do, and we will come after you. Again, with the headline that is still trending on that particular issue with the security, many Nigerians, Simon Ekpa went further to say again, this is a war crime happening in Nigeria, sponsored by the Islamic State government that asked the terrorists to leave the region and start bombing the survivor of the terror. The Nigerian terrorist army colluded with other terrorists and bandits. They are not neutral. If you don't rise up against them, like we have done in Biafra, you will all be killed in Kaduna and other part. He's not the only one saying that. The former military general, said the same thing, that, you got to protect yourself. His name just, faded away right now. He said it some few years back that
remember.
Every Nigerians must protect their own as well, if you want to really, and do not trust the Nigerian army because they're already colluded.
Listen, that's quite a worrying end to the story that is making the rounds. But is it that the Nigerian army has been bombing communities in the southeast as well? Are they?
Theophilus Danjuma, I've just been told.
Wow.
Theophilus Danjuma said so some few years back. That they've colluded.
Yeah. Okay, listeners, we'll have to bring the updates from Nigeria to a close here. But before Yomi goes, Yomi.
Well, I didn't want to bring that up just before we started. The mother-in-law to Dr. Chief Sunday Igboho, Mrs. Rockwo Adeyemo, the mother died yesterday, and she has now been buried according to the Islamic rite today in Ede, in Osun State, Nigeria. May her soul rest in perfect peace.
Oh, may her soul rest in perfect peace. And to the family, our condolences as well. But a quick one, what has happened to Chief Sunday Igboho's mom?
Well, that is still a planning that is still going on. Not much details wants to be revealed yet, but she'll be buried very soon. But the question is, as that is being prepared, Chief Igboho called me yesterday just to announce again the death of our mother-in-law that passed on yesterday, and she has now been buried. According to the Islamic rite, the Starr Radio UK link and the sister broadcast were there to cover the event, and we pray for the family. And also, as we say, Chief Sunday Igboho is going through a lot at the moment, as the two beautiful mothers, one for himself and one for the wife, have now passed on to the glory of the Almighty Creator. And we can only pray for everyone that is within the family and hope that such news will be far away from us and every other person as well.
Okay, Yomi, let me say thank you very much. But before you go,
well, I'll be back again same time tomorrow as we continue to review what is happening in Nigeria. But for now, I'll leave you in the good hands of Archie at 5th December 2023. And I've been seeing the Christmas light outside some of the houses.
Yeah, don't worry. Pretty soon we'll get our own in the studio as well. Yomi, have a lovely day, and then we'll catch up later.
Bye for now.
Bye-bye. Well, listeners, that has been Mr. Olayomi Koiki bringing you updates from Nigeria, from our North London studios this morning. Well, maybe you still want to react to some of the stories that we put.
Well, that is how far we can go this morning. I'm going to end the broadcast. We'll probably come back later for other news as well. We're not bringing anybody in for those of you sending a request. Thanks so much for reminding me the name that I couldn't get earlier, Mr. Majo Victor. That was Theophilus Danjuma I was trying to remember. When I come back, we're going to talk about the security in Nigeria and why Nigerian military continue to bomb. ISIS is a big threat to us, but it seems that Nigerians are not taking it serious. I'll tell you what happened at Philippines yesterday, where ISIS bombed a Catholic church. Many people died, many injured. It reminds me of Owo, when the same ISIS went there and commit crime against humanity. As we always say to you, no one will be immune when these terrorists attack you. We can only hope that you will not be bombed by the Nigerian army wherever you are. The Nigerian army has committed crime against humanity. That's a genocide. They might tell you all kinds of lies. It has been done purposely. The reason why Tolulope Arotile was killed was because she was actually killing the real terrorists as against innocent Nigerians. But today, Tolulope Arotile was killed by the same military because she was fighting the real terrorists. So you can now see why some of us say Nigeria is not a country, but many of you believe that Nigeria is still a country. I hope that you will not be affected with one Nigeria very soon. Thank you so much. Join me later on and we'll come back and discuss all these issues. Bye for now.